That was supposed to come back automatically. I don't know why it didn't do it.
Oh well, such is
We're
life.
here.
Welcome to Fan Flak. You got both of us, and you will have for most weeks going forward.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
going to make a special point of doing that, and which is only right because I started the friggin' thing. So,
You know,
my
I think the laptop and the green screen will make it easier for you to do that.
I agree. I agree. So we'll get everything together. I'm having somebody come over and at considerable cost to set up everything so it all comes together better. And yeah, I won't be sitting here with the silly green sheet behind me. Anyway,
We
we
planned this
have
out months ago, but it just hasn't worked out yet.
put together a structured a new formula for fan flop. We're going to talk about whatever is in the news, which is usually UFOs, Disney, entertainment, and all the stuff Mark finds out that you need to be aware of because the vipers are in the internet and trying to get us all. So be aware of that. And we'll also, I guess, trade in things and whatever. Mark is the going to be the arbiter of that because he's better at scheduling and that kind of thing. I'm woefully right brained, which is why I'm sitting here in a hippie shirt. Anyway,
Melody has more information about things than. You ever know somebody that they'll say something and you'll say, "Oh, that can't be true," but then I'll look it up. By God, it is true. But she knows her shit. I'll tell you.
I do, which isn't always a good thing. Anyway,
Well,
so where are we
what?
going first, Mark?
Why don't, since we were discussing it before we came on the air, why don't we talk about the problems at Facebook right now?
That's a good idea.
There are clearinghouses for these online merchants that set these things up. And that's why on Facebook you will see a dirge of uh, charity car auctions. You know, you got to notice that you'll see 30 charity car auctions,
Right.
and I checked out on all of those, and of those charity car auctions, I found one that was
Credible.
pretty much on the up and up. The rest of them I wouldn't have nothing to do with because they're taking some old piece of crap and auctioning it off, and then when you get done, you really don't want it. It's a piece of junk. So I'm just telling you, those aren't a good idea. But anyway, right now, what you're seeing on Facebook are apps.
Yeah.
They're counting log apps where you can take a picture of a pile of logs and it'll tell you how many logs there are. That doesn't work. I actually purchased one of those to try it out at work because I'm an inspector and sometimes I'll have a pile of parts. I tried it, and it's not even close to being accurate. So don't buy it. But there's the I'm going to take a picture of you and make it look like you're in the 1800s. There's one of those.
They
There's
work.
all these. Well, some of them do.
Well, yeah. Yeah. There are plenty of crap ones that are cheap that don't.
Melody got a hold of an AI one, the one that I use for that protector mark thing, and that's strictly AI. It takes my image, and but Melody will tell you a lot of those ones you get from there. Melody picked and chose the better ones out of it.
I talked to my friends who are photographers. I know a few photographers. They told me which ones to get.
Yeah. And that would work pretty good. But I've seen a bunch of them on there that I wouldn't buy. And those ones where they show the girl on the beach with 16 other people and trash on the ground, and this software just immediately gets rid of all those people in the trash. I use Photoshop. It is not easy to do that without making it look like you've done something to the picture. You can get rid of all those people, that's easy. But then your sand is going to be all distorted and it's going to be obvious you did something to the picture. So,
well, there are some that, there's one that I use that a lot of resellers use. Let me find it here. And there are plenty of crappy ones. But it's called Photo Room. I can recommend it. But it's not perfect. I mean, it takes out the background. But if you're trying to fool people, you're never going to fool people. I mean, don't think you can do UFO photos with it. You can't. It'll take a green or a purple background with a few things in it out of the background, put a white one in. Like if you're listing product on Amazon, they insist upon a white background. It'll do that. But if you're looking for, something that will fool people, it's not going to work. People can pick up that stuff.
It's amazing what they can do with a photo editor nowadays.
Yep.
They have them. I saw a guy create a video. We're not talking about a still photo. This guy created a video on his home computer using this, I forget what the software was called. And it literally looked like a UFO came and landed in his front yard.
Yeah.
I mean, there was fog and dust being blown up by the UFO, and the tree in his front yard, you could see it hanging in front of the UFO. So, I mean, it was stuff that's very hard to do with a still photograph, much less.
That's artists with tools. That's a whole different thing than some silly app.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those apps, if you've got the skills, you can use those apps and do all sorts of amazing things. But you can't just go bloop and everything's gone and it looks perfect.
Yes,
not going to happen.
Color. Yeah, you have to know something about color and cameras and basic stuff.
Right. You can't just walk in stone cold and do this. It's just not going to happen.
And until the whole problem with copyrights and images is sorted out in terms of AI, most of the apps that deal with digital reframing of photographs are going to be a pain in the tuchus. So anyway, but the one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit regarding what's going on with Facebook is there have been a lot of ads for reborn babies, the dolls. I don't know.
I haven't seen those.
I think they target me because, one, I'm female, I'm older, and I sell dolls. So, but the thing is that the dolls that are being sold are very different from the dolls you receive. And I've been following this on a lot of the different reseller lists. Some people have been buying them because they're cheap and then thinking they'll resell them. but it's never the doll you think you're getting. And if you are a person who wants to buy a reborn baby, I strongly suggest just going to eBay and talking to the artists there, because the artists who do these, they know their stuff. They also happen, if you can't afford $5,000 for a reborn baby who looks just like a real baby, contact them, because they have full starts. They have ones that, yeah, $5,000.
Wow.
I know, but they look just like and feel just like a real baby. And
I'm
a lot
sorry.
of
I'd be scared to death of that.
oh, they terrify me too. Trust me. But there are people who are bereaved, who lose their babies, who
Yeah,
have
but
great comfort from getting one of these, and it's like
really.
a long goodbye kind of thing. And there are collectors who just love them. So each to their own. And but contact the sellers. I know people who have, and who have gotten a very good deal on a real artist made doll. And the you don't need to go to Russia. And most of the cheap reborns are cast off of um, European and American artists, and Australian artists, and Japanese artists, and everybody in capitalism land. And they cast molds from them and remake them without permission.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that happens with the other toys too. A lot of
oh,
them
of
are
course, yeah.
remade. There's a
So
fellow now recasting a lot of the Marx figures, but he's honest. He says that they're recasts.
that's a whole
But
different thing. If
yeah,
they're honest and they build them as being recast and collector art and things like that, that's different. These people are making what they call reborn dolls, and um, sending them out. They charge $500 for this thing. It costs them like 50 cents. Not that little, but and they're calling them reborns, but they were made from the work of another artist who isn't being compensated.
well,
And
that's pretty much par for the course here lately with
yeah,
those Facebook frauds.
yeah,
Well, you've seen the ones that I've posted about that 3 foot long Batmobile, and I mean that is a cool toy. It
oh, of
really
course,
is. There's a company, I think it's JDW Dioramas, something like that, and they're the ones that originally made them, and they sold them for $1,500.
yeah,
Well, they sold out like almost overnight.
yeah,
They
of
were
course,
gone. And what happened was eBay resellers bought up a bunch of them, and they have them on eBay for $3,000. Well, this clown on Facebook, well, there's more than one of them. The ones
yeah.
on Facebook, they advertise them for $39. Now, how do you think? I'm sorry, people, but if you really honestly believe somebody could build that toy, sell it to you for $39 and make a profit, you deserve to get ripped off.
Well,
I'm
a lot of the
sorry.
people buying them are kids, and when you got a kid saying, "I want that, I want that," yourself, and you buy it, or you hear about it for the rest of your natural life. And unfortunately, then they get their little hearts broken when it arrives. And I mean, Mark and I went through this when we were kids. We looked in the back of some comic book, and there was an ad for giant, life-size balloons,
Monsters.
monsters.
Do you remember what we got? I remember what we got.
Yeah, they were about that big.
We got a pair of paper feet with a little slot cut in it, and we got a balloon.
Yeah.
And you blew up the balloon and you pulled the knot on the balloon through the hole in the paper feet and you sat it on the floor. And this was supposed to be a 6-foot tall replica of Frankenstein.
Yeah. And it was about that
Not
big.
even that tall, I don't think. Yeah. It was a green balloon with a face on it.
And it popped fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And we were just heartbroken. Well,
yeah. Well, we said $1.
Yeah.
And what was bad is the coupon that was in was Spider-Man #1, and I cut it off the back cover of Spider-Man #1, which is only worth about $3,000 now.
Not that much.
Nah.
Yeah, I have a friend whose grandfather cleared out his closets, and he dragged out, he said, I don't suppose anybody'd want these Spider-Man comic books. And he grabbed them and said, hell yes. And then found out, unfortunately, that there'd been a leak in the top of the closet.
I have to point something out to people before I forget.
Yes.
If you have a family member who has passed on,
yes,
and you are given the job of taking care of all their stuff that they
executor,
have left, carefully look at all of their stuff, because it is possible you are just about to throw away something that could pay for your kids' college education, especially if they're older people.
Yep.
I'll tell you what happened to my wife's friend. They lived right down the street from where my wife lived. So her dad passed away, and her dad got a hold of she got a hold of Beverly and I, and told us that she'd like us to take a look at her stuff. So I said, I'll be happy to, but I can't get over there until Saturday because I'm working. Well, Saturday they were having a yard sale. And I told her, I said, look, put the yard sale off for a week. I says, let me come and look at the stuff before you do something you'll regret. So I get over there on Saturday. We got there about 10 o'clock. And they were having the yard sale. And they had a big trash thing out front of the place. And so I went over and I looked in the trash thing. And what they had thrown away were about 20 old Auto Club porcelain signs that their dad had collected. Before the government started putting up road signs, Auto Club put up road signs. The Auto Club road signs are priceless. They had thrown probably $60,000 to $70,000 worth of Auto Club road signs, and then they had thrown furniture in on top of them. So they had shattered all the porcelain, so they were worthless at this point. That's not all. So we go
well, that's
in.
why those things are worth $60,000. It's because people do that kind of crap.
So we go into the garage, and we're looking around the garage. And he had a whole bunch of woodworking tools that, I mean, they're nice. They're old Stanley, and they're engraved, and But they're not really worth a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
But they were treating those like they were priceless. And I told them, I says, you threw away all your priceless shit. I says, you could have bought another house just about with what you threw in that trash bin. Oh, no. I said, I'm sorry, but you did. Okay, so out in the trash, I noticed some boxed Lewis Marks and Company 10 wind-up toys in the box. So I pulled a couple of them out of there and I bought them. And one of them was missing the end cover of the box. So I took them out of the trash and took them inside and I bought them from them. And, they were like upset about that I had picked in their trash. And I said, look, I'll give you $50 a piece for these. So then they started dickering with me. They wanted more. And I said, these were in your trash. So then the one lady, she tells me, because I commented how it would be worth probably another $100 if the end wasn't missing from the box. And she says, oh, damn, I tore that off, picked my teeth with it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, this is the whole problem with people and their perception of what is worth money and what isn't, and that's just the way things are. Okay, what's next on the agenda?
all right, well, let me pull something up. It went away when I left. All right, I'm going to play a little clip from you of the latest whistleblower in the UFO community. So here that goes.
We're definitely not alone.
A former intelligence and military official is blowing the whistle about a secret government program he says has recovered non-human spacecraft.
When you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
Whether a secret government program has recovered UFOs and aliens deserves to be investigated by Congress.
All of which Bob Lazar told us years ago.
Yeah, we were talking about that this is all something Bob Lazar told us. And just in case you notice, the latest way of debunking Bob Lazar is they've decided to start calling him Bob Laser.
That's one of the things that they do is they belittle people by mispronouncing their names or by dropping off a colonel or doctor from their name. And it's very unfortunate. Fortunately, we have other venues now that we can use to get the information out. And
now, what do you think of Skinwalker Ranch here lately?
I love it. I think it's gone way out there and it's getting better. And Brandon Hugel he's talked on his own social media about attempts to rein them in. And he said, nobody's reining me in. And I'm really impressed with it. I think it's going to get better. And I think Beyond Skinwalker Ranch is equally good. So, I
haven't seen that. What is that?
It comes on right after. It's about all of the places beyond Skinwalker Ranch where the same stuff happens. Places like
Blind Frog.
Yeah, exactly. But beyond, outside of Utah, places like Sedona, Arizona, places like the Appalachians. They're the oldest mountains on Earth, and they see stuff up there all the time that never gets reported. And some of it's, hillbilly wackos, but not all of it is. A lot of it has been attested to by responsible people, and this stuff going on. We live on a weird planet. It's not nearly as easily put together as we like to think. It's we have Robert Mercer, whom I'm going to be talking about, who has been set up to debunk people. He's a very, very wealthy man, and he's also a right-wing Christian. And he set up Carl Sagan and Bill Nye and all these people at Cornell to belie and debunk. And he also has gone after Skinwalker Ranch. They start going after these people who are telling the truth and propping up liars to give their own agenda. And they're not always lying. Most of the time they're just bending the truth a little so that it befalls... we've got... Hi, Kim! And Air Terre. Do I speak French? We both took 5 years of French. I can say le tracteur n'est pas un animal. And,
I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's it.
Yeah.
And I can say the days of the week.
And we can sing the French national anthem.
I'm kind of losing that myself.
we had a wonderful teacher named Madame Leo, who was a native French speaker, and she gave us an excellent accent to replicate that. C'est la vie.
She tried her best.
She tried, yeah. Unfortunately, she had old hillbilly kids. That's where our families came from originally, to try to pound French into, and it doesn't quite fit. Anyway, so anything more on the UFO front, Mark?
No, that's the only thing I've heard. They've kind of quieted down a little bit about the UFOs. I'm not seeing nearly as many on-the-air stories about them as we were for a while.
Yeah, Whitney Strieber has a new book out called Them, and it discusses what they are and what they aren't.
They're ants.
No, that's another movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's I just started reading it. It's as always. I mean, Whitley's an amazing writer, and he's gone through some really awful things, including and especially the loss of his wife Annie, from whom he hears regularly, though. So just as Mark hears from Beverly, and I hear from our past sister and sisters, both of them. And
I was going to say, I didn't think you had a wife.
No, I don't. I have a husband, and
he's still with us. Thank goodness.
He's still with us, still healthy as anything. And anyway, he's he's fine. He's waiting. So anyway,
and Melanie still hears from him.
Oh, believe me, every day. The poor man had to help pull me out of the swimming pool yesterday. He and our niece. So I had my left thigh is still weak, and so I can't quite push myself up. So they had to help a little. Anyway, but so suffice to say, I'm sure we have more UFO stuff coming at us.
Oh, of course. And
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Yes, yes, he will. And I'll be paying some attention, as much as I ever do. All right, we got entertainment stuff now, I guess. Is that what's next on the agenda?
Well, let's bring up one thing that I
Okay.
wanted to
Yes.
bring up. This picture. There is a hubbub going on now amongst Disney aficionados as to the lamp that is kept burning in the window of the upstairs to the firehouse, which was Walt Disney's apartment. Walt Disney, when he was alive, whenever he was in the park, would always light up this light, and he made it knowledge to the people that worked there that if that light was on, that he was present and they could expect a visit from him. So he just did that out of a nice thing to let so he wouldn't walk in on their employees eating their lunch or something, you know. Now, this picture is of the actual original lamp that was in his apartment. The reason I know is because in the full-up picture before I cropped this, there's a picture of Walt standing next to it. So I know this is the lamp. Now, Disney replaced that lamp with another lamp because the family took the original lamp. It had a lot of sentimental value to them, so they took the lamp. And Disney replaced it with one that was about the same color, but it wasn't even close to the same style of lamp. Now Disney has replaced it with one of those hand-painted rose globes like our grandmother used to have in her bedroom.
Yes.
And Disney has replaced it with one of those. I don't know if you've ever seen one. They were hand-painted. They were usually a light green tint, and then they had a rose hand-painted on both sides of it. And that's what Disney has replaced the second lamp with. Now, you know, I don't know what happened to the lamp. They said they replaced it because this one looks closer to the original. I don't think it really does. But I think what probably happened is somebody probably broke the lamp when they were cleaning. And Disney doesn't want to admit that they allowed somebody to break the lamp. So there's another lamp in that window. But it's just, they still use the same tradition. They light the lamp and keep it there. But, I mean, what they ought to do is they ought to tie the lamp down to whatever it's sitting on, you know, so that it can't get knocked over and broken. Or hire somebody that isn't quite so clumsy. They could do that.
That might work.
Yeah. So anyway, that's sort of the latest Disney stuff I've got on me right at the moment.
What
just
about
to let you, this is eBay Disney crossover, so it works good for us. That Disney is right now selling tickets to their newest Halloween thing, which is called the Oogie Boogie Bash. And they're getting very difficult to get because it sells out almost instantaneously. And what somebody has started doing, as they do, is they've started selling them on eBay. Now, I only saw one. There was people complaining that eBay was killing Disneyland. Well, I only saw one ad, so I don't think Disneyland's doing it. There may be somebody else doing it, but I don't think eBay is doing it. The eBay one had 4 tickets for $1,599, which just so happens to be the price of the Magic Key Inspire annual pass. So I got a sneaking suspicion whoever's selling those intends to buy next year's pass with the money. I think that's what's going on. Now, I did something similar to that back once upon a time. They had the Main Street Electrical Parade, which was popular at the park. The last year, they were selling special tickets to the last Main Street Electrical Parade. So we paid $125 apiece for my daughter and I to go. And we sat on Main Street and we watched the last electrical parade. And then they, in the watch shop, which was where Fortuosity is, in that watch shop, they were selling last electrical parade watches. Now, these watches were very limited because they were only going to make however many got sold. And as it turned out, there were 300 of them sold. So I bought 2. You could buy 1 per person. So I bought 1 for my daughter, 1 for me, and then I stole the one I bought for my daughter. Well, I paid for it.
Yeah, darn straight.
So I managed to sell those 2 watches for the amount of my annual pass for the next 2 years. So for the next 2 years, my annual pass was covered by Disney. So
let it be known, it is very easy to, well, not very easy, but you can certainly make buys at Disneyland that you can turn into profit.
Right. I think I've told you this before, but I now have the Inspire Magic Key Pass to Disneyland. So I can get in most days. It isn't like the old annual passes where I could literally say I can get in there any day it's open. It's not like that anymore, unfortunately. But I can get in most days. Just have to, make the reservations in advance and so forth. Like I am going tomorrow, and I am going on the 4th of July with my grandson. He wanted to go, so he and I are going. Now, Connor has autism, and what is nice about Disneyland is they have these DAS passes for people like Connor, because Connor does not like to stand in line.
Nobody does.
Yes, but Connor makes it very clear.
Exactly. That's the difference.
Right. Like you or I will stand there quietly and grumble while we're waiting. But Connor does not do that. Connor lets everybody around him know what he thinks of standing in line. Nobody's happy.
Well,
nobody puts Connor in a corner.
Nope. Well, that happens to a lot of children there. And another nice thing about Disney is they train their what do they call them? Cast members.
Cast members.
They train their cast members how to calm down people who are perseverating or having, any kind of issue. And in fact, there's a wonderful video on YouTube, I hope it's still there, of, I forget which character it was. It was someone like Mickey or Minnie hugging this child and rocking them and calming them down. And they had been throwing things and really going, this was somebody with severe behavioral issues. So Disneyland gets a lot of abuse that is pretty much deserved, but they do a lot of good things, and they keep disabled people in mind. So that's a good thing. And so, and don't pick on them about Oogie Boogie, because they're not the ones doing it. The more people they have in there, the more stuff they sell. So they're not going to be wanting to oversell the value of the ticket. Let's see, was there anything more on Disney or?
One thing I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making a little clip at Disneyland that we can play on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
So, if I'm sitting at this ride or that ride or, whatever I'm happen to be doing that day, I'll try to find something interesting and record a little clip. I'm hoping to capture the Baby Yoda, or what's his name?
Grogu.
Who in the hell decided that was a good name for a
Who in the hell
popular
decided we
character?
needed Baby Yoda? We had Yoda.
Yeah. See, now, about Disney Plus, I was a fan of the Book of Boba Fett. Now, why they canceled the Book of Boba Fett? And I mean, I know why they kept the Mandalorian, because of Baby Yoda.
They could make more little Baby Yodas.
Yes.
Nobody's buying Boba Fett.
Well, some people are, but not as many as that are buying Baby Yodas.
If they came out with Baby Boba Fett, now.
Happy 4th of July, whoever anonymous.
Yes, absolutely. Happy 4th of July.
Anonymous Facebook user.
We are related to John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. And so we take 4th of July very, Richard is doing well, and we'll hear from him soon.
I think we know who Facebook user is.
Yes. She doesn't want to use her name right now, so we'll say hi.
That's right.
Anyway, the one thing I wanted to bring up, and this will be my last contribution in terms of topics. Mark is going to carry on with doing the protector mark elements. There's been a big brouhaha over the old Pentatonics a cappella group, and I've been hearing about it because I used to have a fan group for Avi Kaplan, who was the bass singer, who is the nephew of my good friend Lisa King. And there has been, he quit the group for a lot of reasons, and has launched off into his very successful solo career. I have to admit that I don't particularly like Avi because of some of the stuff that he's done. And I won't go into it because it's personal stuff that I've heard from friends and family. But he's, in general, he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. And what he was the best singer in Pentatonics. And they stupidly, because of the fan base, largely ran him out of the group. And the fan base was desperately addicted to the three the three first members of Pentatonics. And they were very jealous of the attention that Avi and Kevin got. And because of that, largely broke up the group. And that's why Pentatonics is just another a cappella group now. And they don't have half the following. They don't have, even a third of the following, really. And I think it's very sad. And fandom did it to themselves. I don't want to hear about how somebody did this and Scott and Mitch did this. This is on the fans as far as I'm concerned. And I have to say that Home Free, who won the season after Pentatonics won the TV show they were on, they have emerged as the best a cappella group. They're amazing. And they've done it by keeping egos out and by focusing on the music and the art. And they've lost members and brought new members in. And they're still home free. So powered all the home fries. You guys did good. And us PTX people, we didn't do so hot. So that's the end of that.
What is the a cappella group that used to play at Disneyland all the time?
That would be, do you mean the barbershop quartet or?
It's men and women. I'm not talking about the Dapper Dads. I'm talking about...
Pentatonics is the one that was at Disneyland most often.
Okay, they had a black lady.
They had a Latina lady who was dark complected, yeah.
Okay, might have been. I saw them, I remember, at D23.
Mm-hmm.
They had them performing there. I didn't realize that was Pentatonics.
Yep, that was Pentatonics. And I believe they performed at D23 after Avi left the group. And I know Allison has seen them at Disneyland, at Beverly too. So they were wonderful. They really were. They were a blend of great voices. And unfortunately, when you take one of those voices, and the new bass they have is quite good, but he's just as good as any other bass. Avi was trained in German opera. He could get to notes that nobody else can, or very few can. And
well, there's a Disney singer that holds the record for the lowest note ever.
Oh yeah,
by a human.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, Avi Kaplan is basso profundo, which means he can go low, but there are lower singers than he is.
I don't know if you've ever heard Thurl Ravenscroft.
Yeah. Ravenscroft, yeah.
He was, the last I read, he still holds the record for the lowest human voiced note ever hit.
Avi got to meet him, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, so.
He was Tony the Tiger.
Yep.
He did the song for the Grinch movie.
Yep.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. He did that song.
He was. I think he still is. Isn't he still with us?
No. He
Did he
died
pass?
about.
Oh,
He died like 20 something years ago.
yeah.
He did the Haunted Mansion bust. That grim gritty ghosts come out to socialize. That was his voice.
Yep. I remember that. Oh yeah. Before I get quoted on this again by various
Uh-oh.
fan groups that follow me, because 8 million years ago I wrote some fan fiction. And that's not putting down my readers at all. I love you guys. The woman we knew as what is his name? The guy who's the head of I can't remember words anymore. It's so sad. The guy who's the head of the group that lived across the street from Nanny and Poppy. Maybe my brother will remember.
I could have too. You said that.
Metallica. The main guy who was in.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in Metallica.
Yeah.
The Conroys.
Yeah.
That's who lived across the street.
Well, yeah, but these guys lived to the left. He's the one that buffered his garage with mattresses so that they could practice. And that was we used to go in the swimming pool.
That was the Conroys.
The Conroys we did too, but they also had another swimming pool.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I almost drowned in the Conroy swimming pool, so I remember that one.
Yeah. Well, and Carolyn and all of them are gone now, but anyway, the head fellow from Metallica, the woman we knew as his mother was his stepmom, who had married his dad after his mom died. But she was always referred to as his mom. So you debunkers shove it up your noses. And that includes you, Elijah. Anyway, that's the end of that. Now, what else do we have on the docket?
Well, I think we've just about talked about everything. But let's see. What else do we have here?
6 minutes.
Oh, we can come up with something to talk about for 6 minutes.
Yeah. Give me a break, yeah.
But just one thing we haven't mentioned is Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Happy Canada Day 2 days ago. And I think 2 days.
Eh?
Yeah, 2 days. Eh?
Yeah.
My Canadian friends will love that. Yeah, and you don't say hosier or hoser to them. But
well, I watch a couple of shows that are set in Canada.
Yeah.
I watch one. It's called Restoration Garage.
Yeah.
And it's about this company called the Guild that operates up there, and they're in Canada. And I get a kick out of their pronunciation of things.
Yeah.
Like a radiator.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not a radiator, it's a radiator.
Well, to us, it's a radiator. To them, it's a radiator. Because in the UK, it's a radiator. Then
he also talks about whether something fits or not, and he calls it fitment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fitment?
Well, that's a British thing.
I mean, wasn't Fitment a dragon at Disneyland? Oh, that was Figment.
Figment.
Close. I knew that. I was kidding.
Yeah, he's joking. Yes, no, please don't email me. But
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Real Don Steele.
KHJ Los Angeles.
Actually, the real Don Steele's dead, but
Yes, long time ago. He was in, what was that movie? Death Race 2000 with,
was he really?
yeah, he had a bit part in that.
You know, I should, we actually have, he listens to us over on Twitter, but there's my oldest grandson's other grandfather is not doing so well, so we send out best wishes to him.
Best wishes.
He used to be an actor. I'm trying to think of the name. Never mind. He's been in a couple things, you know, but now he's retired and sweltering in the heat here in the Antelope Valley with the rest of us. But other than that, how's the family? Let's talk about our folks.
Everybody's doing good. Allison is at work today at the hospital, making people well. My grandson has been in here every 10 minutes to ask me what time we're leaving tomorrow for Disneyland.
Bless his heart. And how's Georgia doing?
Well, she was sleeping last time I was in there. She likes to sleep in on the weekends.
Oh, heck yeah. So do I. That's a common thing among the Tanner women. And oh gosh, we talked through 2 minutes. That's amazing.
Yep. We have 3 minutes. 3 minutes left to go.
And
Hey.
as I've been asked before, my grandchildren are fine. Kenny is going to kindergarten next year, and he's very excited about it. And our other, the twins they're doing great, and I hope very soon I'll be able to show you pictures and so you can know about them. They're wonderful children, all 3 of them. And so's my oldest one, and I also include his brother, who's been in our lives for a long, long time. But we don't get to see them as often. But anyway, that's the way of things with family. And I hope your families are all going to have a great 4th of July and 3rd of July.
Just don't burn your fingers off.
Yes, please be careful. Look, I hate to sound like a broken record, but
I hate to sound like our parents.
yes, exactly. But our oldest sister once stepped on a live sparkler and almost had to have skin grafts. Those things are mean when they get going. And, we've had just family incidents because back then you could set off small fires in your front yard and nobody complained. But at least at my grandparents' house, we couldn't do it in where we lived. But
Melody, in case you didn't hear earlier, has decided to try to do all the shows again. So she has a new laptop and a webcam.
Yep.
And she's going to get her green screen software squared away so she can get her green screen, which has been quietly resting behind her, waiting for her to use it.
It's back there going, when are we going to be able to use?
So it is now time for us to leave the air. It is 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves.
So I am going to play us out. So you guys take it easy, and we will see you next week. Happy 4th.